Good morning and welcome to this weekly market update from MRC Markets. Today is the 17th of May 2013. What we'll do today is go through some technical analysis on Euro dollar, cable, dollar Swiss, Aussie dollar, dollar CAD and gold. Just sort of review price action, what's been going on in the week, just go through any setups that I'm looking at, and basically show you what I think has been going on in the markets and stuff to look out for in the future, which will hopefully be of some interest. We're not making any trade calls recommendations in this video. You trade at your own risk. If you could please read our full disclaimer on our website www.mrcmarkets.com. For any new followers, we have 3 moving averages in each of these charts. The red one is a 50 simple moving average, the purple is 100 simple, and the gold is a 200 simple moving average. Okay, and let's have a look at the Euro dollar chart. Let's flip it quickly to the weekly chart because it's good to get some sort of perspective. It's very sort of 50-50 at the moment. There's lots of setups still in play on the Euro dollar in terms of fibs. We will mainly look at fibs on there because it's what I think is just a good sort of framework to look at the markets with. So we have this fib setup still in play. Buyers coming in at 50%. We've got some sort of rotation high. We've got capped at the 100-week moving average, and we're now pressing it into the 50%, which is also a 50 SMA as well. And then you have this setup up here, from the highs to the lows, and sellers coming in at the 50% as well, with the 200-week moving average there. So they're also trying to press it lower. So 2 setups still technically in play there. It's been quite bearish these last couple of weeks. You can see the last couple of weekly candles have been a little bit heavy, coming off that 100-week moving average. So that's the one capping it at the minute, but the 50 SMA will be trying to support it today, in my opinion. So that's what's going on the weekly. And then on the daily, we have a similar sort of thing. So we have a fib set up there, perfectly valid, in play, which is the one which is currently working out. So the highs to the lows coming in at 50% to pretty much to the pip at that one spot 32.29. So it's called one spot 32.30s, and that's starting to press lower. But this setup was also in play. So from that low to that high there, buyers initially coming in at the 50%, the 61.8, trying to bring it higher, but struggling. It got capped. We'll see a bit clearer if we zoom in actually, and it got capped to the 50 SMA, and the sellers are in control on the daily chart, in my opinion. So yeah, that's starting to press down. Wouldn't be surprised to see the lows get taken out here. The 100% levels, that's one spot 27.46. Wouldn't be surprised to see that get taken out maybe next week. But in fact, I think if you add a 78.6, now not that I look at that too often, but I'm sure some people watching do, the 78.6 is technically holding at the minute. We've had 3 candles, including today's one. It's tested 78.6, and that will try and hold. I mean, you can, if you look on the 15-minute chart or the hourly chart, it is trying to hold. It's not ripping up that. It's obviously not ripping up that high quickly at the minute, but it is trying to hold. In fact, all these levels have tried to hold. You can see a decent sort of reaction at the 50, 61.8 and the 78.6. So keep that in mind, because that could of course hold, and it could press the bear high. But that's what's going on the Euro dollar, and that's what I'm really focused on. Really, I think that's what's in play. The 4-hour chart is not that interesting to me. If we do start to get a bounce off this 78.6, then the fib I'll personally be looking out for will be that one there. It's the more obvious one, because I mean, you could look at that dip there, or even that one there, but for these sort of videos we look at the more obvious ones, and wouldn't be surprised to see that coming. Because also, if you flip to the 4-hour there, you can see there's a previous support and resistance zone as well, that one spot 30.41's level. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get a bounce. Of course, it could just get capped by this 50 SMA on the 4-hour and come back down. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at on the Euro dollar. Cable, let's focus on the daily. Daily a similar thing to you, you've got two setups still in place. You've got the one from the highs to the lows here. Sellers coming at the 50% level at the one spot 56 handle, and it's starting to press lower. But you also have the fib from the lows to the highs here, the obvious lows to the highs. Surprise, surprise, people coming out the 50% retracement, which was also a previous support around here as well. So the buyer's going to be looking to take that higher to the 0.0%. So it's a battle between two fibs at the minute. We did get a little bounce yesterday, but you can see it got capped to the 50 SMA there. You can see that much clearer there. And also that with 100 there capped as well. So the moving average has been very, very technical on here. So that is what's going on the daily chart. In fact, on the weekly, it's a similar sort of thing as well. The same fib and play. Because the reason is this high fib up here is an important fib on all the time frames really, is because it's the high of the year to the low of the year. So a very important and obvious fib I assume the banks will be looking at as well. So it's the obvious ones are normally the best in my opinion, because that's what everyone's looking at. So it's more likely to have more orders there, and that's been what you can see. It had a beautiful reaction at that level. So yeah, that's my cable outlook. Dollar Swiss has been an interesting chart. We spoke about this in the previous sort of few weeks videos. This fib here from the lows to the highs there, it came back down. It struggled to get a decent reaction at the 50%, but the buyers came in just below the 61.8. So if you had your stops just below there, if you gave it a decent amount of room, then you would have got lucky. And it's rotated very, very nicely towards the upside, broken the 0%. And if you use the extensions, so the minus 23.61, then that would have hit that main target there, and it's stalled there. So that move is technically done and dusted. On the 4 hour, it's been interesting as well. You've had a decent fib move here, that lows to the highs there, that worked out very nicely, and it's now just grinding higher really. These two dips, I think that might have been 38.2. And this one here is quite volatile yesterday, so there's quite a bit of news. So if you had tight stops, you may have been stopped out there. If you had them just below the 61.8, and I think if that fib there, probably would have been a 38.2, which would be a bit more of the safer one, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just grinding high really, but it has stalled at the 123.6, so it looks like it may want to come back down. You can see those upper wicks there have formed, so it's sort of stalling now towards the end of the week. Maybe people are profit taking, etc., etc. Let's have a quick look at the Aussie. Aussie's been selling off very, very heavily. The daily chart, nothing much to look at really. It's just been it's just a very aggressive move downwards. I mean, if you flip out to the weekly, then I think an interesting level here is the 50% retracement at 0.9575. Of course, we're still about 200 pips away from that, but you can see it's also previous support as well. It acted very, very nicely there. So wouldn't be surprised to see that come down and maybe get some sort of decent reaction there, the buyers coming in. We also have this 200-week moving average here, which is just sliced through butter really on this weekly chart, so it's looking very, very heavy indeed there. And to be honest, it's all really focused on me on that. I mean, the 4 hours has been nice for sort of dip sellers. So many sort of people selling the bounces, a nice little 50% there, and if you extend your low down and then move your high, that dip there got sold off at the 61.8. So it's been very, very technical. And people playing that fib will still most probably have their positions still on. And just riding the trend really, so it's just a big sell off, but the key level is definitely on that weekly chart for me personally. It'd be interesting to see what happens there. Dollar CAD has been an interesting, very, very technical chart. Actually, I think there's more interesting ones out there. Got a lovely trendline support here. You've got 200-day moving average. You've also the original fib here from lows to highs there. Bam, came in at 50%, rotated high, took out the 123 target. And then what you do, if you move your low to the bounce off the trend line to the new high, you can see buyers coming in at the 61.8% retracement and really bring this pair up here off that 200-day moving average and trendline support confidence as well. So lovely, lovely level there. We initially did get a bounce there off the 50% retracement actually. but then it came back down and tested this fib here. So very, very technical action there. And it looks like it's just going to grind higher now towards that 0.0%. That does look likely. But what we'll be trying to cap it is this trendline resistance, in my opinion. That'll be the interesting point to look at. If we break higher there, then I wouldn't be surprised to see it rip higher towards the upside and break this high here, which is at the one spot, 0.340s. But no, very, very technical chart there, and that is what that's what I think's been going on this week. Gold has just been. We had the initial retracement there. It's just been a very sell-off. Really, it's similar to Aussie, just grinding lower. That fib there. But sellers coming at the 50% and 61.8 zone really. So if you, I don't know, people may have had pending orders in at the 50% and stops behind 61.8. Or in fact, was that a round level as well? They're the 1477s. That's where the sellers are coming in, and it's just grinding low now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that come out and test the 1321s level. Really, that's the daily focus. Really, on the weekly, nothing much of interest there. So yeah, just grinding lower. We had a really nice reaction to the 50 SMA here. For people looking to, if it does start to bounce, which it doesn't look like it will, then that fib there will be the one I personally look out for. 50% comes at the 1429s, but no, I'm not a massively interesting chart. I think it's much more interesting charts. For example, the dollar CAD there and the euro dollar and cable. I think it'd be much more interesting charts. Okay, that's all for today. Hope you've had a great week trading. There's still a bit of news coming out today, I think at 1:30. Yeah, I hope you found that useful. If there's any other pairs you want to have a look at for next week, in next week's video, then feel free to comment under the YouTube channel or send us a tweet. Our Twitter handle is @MRC_markets. Yeah, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.